Hello again. Tony speaking, I just thought I'd devise a little English quiz for you um, with a few 10 general English questions just to help you with general knowledge and one or two other points. So, could you name five English football teams which start and end with the same letter? So, what you could do, I know you can have a think about it, but I'm going to give you the answers. And this is something that you might like to help other people with as well. So, name five English football teams which start and end with the same letter, and there's your answers for you. As you can see, Aston Villa, Charlton Athletic, Liverpool, Northampton Town, and York City. Okay, so you could keep your friends entertained with that, and get them thinking, I'm quite sure. Next question, that's question one. We've got 10 questions. What starts with T and ends with T and is full of T? So again, you can have a quick think about that one, but of course you could talk to your friends about it. But here's your answer: a teapot. So, of course, it is the case, isn't it? Yeah. So, question number three. Now, what's the smallest country in the world? Now, I'm sure you can think of a lot of small nations, but officially speaking, the smallest country in the world is, here's your answer, the Vatican City, which is, of course, next to Rome in Italy, and it is, officially speaking, the smallest country in the world, the Vatican City. So, the Vatican is officially the smallest country in the world. Question four. What language does the word chef come from? So again, have a quick think about that one, and I'll give you the answer. The answer's here. It's French, isn't it? It's like chauffeur, isn't it, and champagne, that it's a sh sound. And these are words that we borrow from other languages. So chef is a word which comes from French. It's like ravioli and spaghetti, isn't it, from Italy? I'm sure you can think of other words as well that we borrow from other languages that we put in. But maybe we'll have another lesson on that sometime, okay? Next question. In Roman times, what was the purpose of the forum? Now, you might have heard of the forum at school or at your workplace. People use that occasionally. I've heard it myself, and they say, go to the forum. The forum is a Latin word, and in Roman times, the Romans used it. Here's your answer. It was a square for discussion. So the Roman people all came together and they discussed things, and that's what you do when you're in college or a meeting place. You go to the forum for a discussion, don't you? So forum is a Latin word that we use, derived from Latin, that we use in English. Next question. Who was the only US president never to be elected? So again, you can have a think about that. But the only US president never to be elected was President Gerald Ford. And you remember the Watergate scandal in 1973-74? Nixon and his vice president resigned, and Ford was chosen as president. There were still 2 years in his office to run. Ford was chosen, he wasn't elected, and he carried on until 1976. He finished Nixon's term of office off, and then he lost the election in 1976 to Jimmy Carter. So Ford was actually a US president, the only one who was never elected. So there's a bit more general knowledge or historical knowledge for you. Next question. Who was the second man to walk on the moon? Now, of course, most people know who the first man was Neil Armstrong. But the second man, one of the men who was with him, was, of course, there's your answer, Buzz Aldrin. Okay, there was 3 of them that went up on that first Apollo mission. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. But Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin was actually the second man to walk on the moon. So there you are, there's your answer there. What's the official language of Argentina? As you know, Argentina's in South America, or some people say Latin America. And have a think about that one, okay? And here's your answer. It's Spanish. If you look at the map of South America, The largest country is Brazil, and of course, they speak Portuguese in Brazil, and most of the rest of South America they speak Spanish. And there's a point behind that. That was the Spanish and the Portuguese when they were trying to conquer Latin America about 500 years ago. Of course, they were both Catholic countries, and the Pope, the leader, was given a map of South America, and he drew with a pencil, and he said that belongs to Portugal, that belongs to Spain, and that's remained pretty much still the same to today. That's why they speak Portuguese in Brazil and Spanish in most of the rest of South America, most of it, not all of it, okay? But Argentina, like Chile and Uruguay, the official language is Spanish. Who was the last Tsar of Russia? So the Romanov dynasty, and so the Tsar, of course, has got two spellings, Tsar and Czar. And the last Tsar of Russia, have a think about that one, finished in 1917, and the last, here's your answer, Tsar Nicholas II. Okay, so that was when the monarchy finished in Russia. Okay, so Tsar Nicholas II was the last person in the Romanov dynasty. Okay, and your last question, maybe a bit of an easy question to finish off with. What was the fastest civilian passenger plane called? Okay, so have a think about that one. And here's your answer. Concorde. Concorde was built by Britain and France in the 1960s with the hope that, many countries would buy it. In the end, only Britain and France bought it in the end. And as a result of that, it was the fastest passenger plane. It only took 3.5 hours to get from London to New York. And the pilot used to often finish, when he landed in New York, he used to say, a jumbo jet left 10 minutes before us from London Heathrow. And this is when they were in New York. They'd arrived in New York, and he said to think that they're nearly, but not quite, halfway here. So Concorde ran until about 2003. 2003, it ran for about over 30 years, and it finished in 2003. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed the little quiz. I hope you've learned something, and if you like it, maybe I can devise more quizzes for you. Hope this was useful, and please keep viewing, and have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.